Hey, welcome to another episode. In fact, episode 6 of Let's Innovate for Vegas. We're recording this on March 29th, late at night, after a lot of warm up material. Our intro is never to be heard by anyone, which is a good thing. Our guest today, our very first guest on the Let's Innovate for Vegas podcast, it's been just me up until now, and so you've probably heard none of those. But tonight, our very first guest is, of course, the one, the only, Mary Norris. Welcome to
Thank
the
you very
show.
much. Thank you. Thank you very much for the intro, and thank you for inviting. Greatly appreciate that.
Sure. So first things first, though, you do have a lot of names. So I have, according to my notes, I cut it down to 4. So Mary Faye Long Norris. Can we call you Mary Norris? Do you prefer Mary? Do you Mary Faye? Can we
Yeah,
call you Mary Faye? Can we call you Mary Faye J? Can we
yeah. You
remember
call
that
me
bit?
anything, just don't call me late for dinner. How about
Yeah, that was
that?
that was
Actually,
that was the Raymond J. Johnson Jr. bit from decades ago.
ooh, I like
Do
that.
you remember that?
Obviously, we can.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. I do. Obviously, our warm-up material isn't done here. There we go. No, actually, yeah. Actually, well, it's Mary Faye Long Norris. Yes. Either way, answer to anything, pretty much. So.
Okay. My best friends call me Cash. That's the best, I
There,
think.
there you go. Absolutely. Or they give me cash, one or the other. That's right.
So that, yes, more please. So
That's right.
so you are the first guest, which I thought was appropriate because you when we decided to reboot the Code for Vegas project, it was January of 2022, and David Kim, who has since moved to Atlanta for a job, and good for him, but he said, "Hey, apparently we're supposed to talk to somebody named Mary Norris." And I said, "Okay." So he set up our Zoom call, and we
Mm.
got the whole story from you, and yet we still continued to reboot Code for Vegas.
Absolutely. Actually, I'm very proud of you for doing that, by the way. And yes, that is how we kismet, how we met, and it
Yeah.
was hey, it's been great ever since. I'm very impressed with what you do and how you do it, and I just can't wait to keep on hearing more about it. Definitely.
I'm trying to make up some really good stories, so we'll see what we can do. But it was funny at the time because quite literally everyone, like, we had talked to you, and then as I would talk to other people, including um, Jess and Ben, who
Hmm.
I may not refer to them any more times than that, but
Yeah.
they were like, "Have you met Mary Norris? Have you talked to her?" And then other people would say it. So you had this sort of oracle status, and
Oh,
it
I
was
get
like,
around.
but it was, no matter where we were remotely. I mean, people in Vegas are not yet aware of you yet.
Well, they're
But
hearing
yeah, it
now.
was, but it is, I mean, it's interesting, and it'll probably come up later because I have a bunch of things on a list of things we can talk about, but I'm sure it will come up later we were just talking about the debriefing. So
Yes.
we'll save that for later.
Yes.
So Brigades in California, you have 2 or 20 or something, a lot. You have a lot of brigades.
Well, actually, I personally, yes, I co-captained 2 brigades. I co-captained Open Fresno and formerly called Code for Sac. We're looking to change that to Open Sacramento. But yes, up and down the Central Valley. And that's who we serve with our communities, trying to go ahead and make sure that we bring apps and anything that is a challenge for them, especially technically. Help them out with that so that way we can go ahead and help to make a more substantial difference in our communities.
Yeah. That's, I mean, I think that's a similar message from any they're not brigades anymore, I guess, but the local volunteer efforts, civic volunteerism on the ground, as I like to say. There's stuff that you can look at. You can say, "Oh, we should work on that." So
Mhm,
I've found
mhm.
that to be valuable here, and we try to drive projects that will have some sort of impact, but will also be like, they'll look good on your resume, as they say.
Oh,
So
absolutely. Hmm.
so that's been fun,
Hmm.
and we too have changed our name from Code for Vegas to Innovate for Vegas, for similar reasons,
Yes.
perhaps. But
Hmm. Hmm. Actually, I like
we'll
the
get to that.
name. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Well, it's still, strangely enough, see, open and innovate, and even words that are not so specific as code,
Hmm.
there's still this, I don't know if you have found this, but here there's still like, well, I'm not a coder. So you still have to
Yes.
make it clear, like, no, we're doing all of the things.
Oh no, that's definitely actually. I was originally we have always been actually code for Fresno, but unfortunately, Fresno is not well versed with the tech field right now. It's still relatively new to us, believe it or not, even though we're not that far away from LA and San Francisco. So therefore, we have had a very lacking in the volunteer field because of that. But we've changed it to the Open Fresno, and it seems like we are getting a bit more people more open minded, no pun intended, to go ahead and look us up and actually volunteer because it doesn't sound so doesn't have that attachment to it to where it's just kind of intimidating to some people.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we would literally have, I'm not a coder. This is
Right.
not for me. And you're like,
Mm.
no, it is, please.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. Exactly. Let me show you.
so,
Exactly.
but then, so civic volunteerism is a whole thing that we will talk about. But I think the key though is to launch one thing and then everybody kind of goes, oh, okay.
Hmm.
Right.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I mean, we only got our determination for 501c3 in October. So what, 6 months ago?
Congratulations.
Oh, thanks.
Hmm.
But, so we're still very new. And,
Hmm.
so we still have to establish some credibility, I suppose. But how old is Open Fresno or Code for Fresno?
Well, actually, Code for Fresno has actually been around for about a good 8, almost close to
Yeah.
10 years, although we have kind of gone on intermittently. The original captain, he had kind of had it on hiatus when I came on board. And actually, I kind of said, hey, if you don't want to do it, I'd love to. And we decided to go ahead and co captain. And then in the meantime, I was, of course, involved with Code for America, which is what we were a derivative of. Um, and I went ahead and we were doing a revisioning, and I interviewed Mr. Dan Fay, who is with Open Sacramento, or well, Code for Sacramento now still. And he needed project management, and I needed tech skills. So within about 6 months, I said, "Hey, what do you say we make some beautiful music together?" Oh,
Hmm.
sure, that sounds great. And he also had two co-captains at the time. Well, one of them went ahead, and within a matter of a month, one of them said, "Hey, I got to get out." And that's when he asked me, "What do you think about being a co-captain?" And ever since, it's been very fruitful. We have quite a few good projects, and I've got to say that it has been a collaboration that I would never trade for the world. It's been fantastic.
Well, yeah, that's why we want to reboot this because we saw, well, we had talked to some people and we, looking back, because I've lived in Las Vegas for 10 years. There was a
Hmm.
Code for Vegas brigade that was part of Code for America.
Hmm.
It formed while they were working on an open data project. So it was
Hmm.
um, actively involved in some actual project development. So Code for Vegas from 2014 and 2016 was a real thing. And
Yes.
the co-captains moved away to go work at Amazon up in
Hmm.
Seattle, I think. So kind of kind of shut down and
Right.
that was it. And then the downtown project was the new shiny thing. So all that.
Hmm.
So when we were rebooting this, we were like, there was some potential there and some people
Hmm.
still remembered it. So they were very supportive and encouraging at the time.
Hmm. Hmm.
But since then it has been a challenge to get people to follow through and be involved. But again, you have to kind of show, don't tell, right? So
Right.
our
Hmm.
big thing will be to launch a project. What was the first thing when you were you with Open Fresno from the early days or
No, actually,
okay.
unfortunately, I was not. I went ahead and I joined CFA, actually, not even as a brigade leader at all. I joined with the main network with Get Your Refund. I
Ah,
actually came there looking to start my own nonprofit because I wanted to bring tech more to the Central Valley area. Of course, first 2 weeks I had meetings with the two people who were very high up there in the totem pole. Um, like I always say, don't ask the secretary what you want to know from the manager. So,
right.
so that's what I did, and got involved with Get Your Refund, and then eventually I got the bug from Bonnie Wolf, who's from Hack for LA. She said, "Hey, have you ever thought about doing a brigade?" Didn't even know what they were. Checked into it, and hey, that's it. It was music to my ears at the time. Well, I've got a lot of safety net service lived experience, and lived experience. Really, there's a lot to say for that because when you do not know what it's like to live by very frugal means, if you have any at all, and you feel like you're trapped, you really don't have those people who are there to help, or at least who are there to facilitate the help. They don't understand really what you're going through.
Right.
So you have that lack of empathy. And being that I have been there, done that, I found myself a very good niche there, especially with Get Your Refund, because there were people there who they've, at that time, is pandemic time, and a lot of people had never gone ahead. They never had to file anything. Why? Because they were on safety net services. So
Right.
here comes around the pandemic, and all these people. I mean, even now, I still go ahead and I still do the taxes and safety net services for people in my home for free.
Yeah. Well, that's and I think that's sort of once you realize that the effort in relation the ROI is much higher than effort, right? So
Oh
once you
yeah.
get it, you've done it a couple times, you're familiar, and you know how to help
Mhm.
people and steer then you're like, oh, it's only going to take me a fraction of the time it would take you to try to do it the first time.
Absolutely.
And it is quite fun, I think, to not fun. I don't mean to trivialize,
Oh
but
no, no.
it's a nice to have to be able to take your time and apply it very effectively to help someone is nice, and then
Yes.
hopefully they'll pay that forward in some other way down the road. So
Yeah, and you said you took the words right out of my mouth. That's exactly what I'm doing. Is I'm paying it forward. I mean,
yeah,
I've been homeless before. Quite frankly, I know what it's like. So that's exactly what it is. Now I have the opportunity to do that, and so I'm doing so. So the first year that I was with Get Your Refund, I actually went ahead and I brought $415,000 worth of refunds to individuals. So yeah, it is very rewarding, very much so.
yeah, and it's difficult to describe that to people, so they just have to try. Like the first time you go, oh, I spent volunteer time, or I did this without really knowing for sure what I would get out of it, and then they'll go, oh, I see, now I get it. Okay,
Hmm, hmm.
because our projects are we're not quite ready to deploy anything yet, so you have to have a leap of faith and say this will be worth it, I promise.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. A lot of it is taking that leap of faith, but I think too, for right now, what I'm seeing is that there's a lot of people there who are getting out of boot camp who don't have the experience,
Right.
but they want the experience. And right now they're not getting hired because of that fact. So one of the things that I do too is say, hey, you know what? You don't have experience. Yeah, you just came out of boot camp. Let's go ahead and have you work on this. That way you do have something you can write down on that resume. That way you can be hireable. And that right there has been a very big catch for some people because of course, we set ground rules as to how to go ahead and plug in and what certain things you need to go by to make sure that we don't get pull requests lost or anything lost in the shuffle in the meantime. But bottom line is that really a lot of people don't have that experience of volunteerism goes ahead and gives them that avenue to go
Right.
ahead and put that on their resume to give some credence to their abilities.
Yeah, and I mean, it's good on the resume, but I've found sometimes people that want to be, say web development, although there's a lot more possibilities, but
Hmm,
say, I want to be a web developer. Maybe I took a class, or maybe I just self-taught.
hmm.
Um, they don't know. It's not a question of resume, but it's just a question of I've never actually worked with other people,
Yes. Oh,
so I don't know how to
yes.
collaborate or how to even work. I don't know how GitHub works or things like this. So
Hmm, hmm,
so there's
hmm.
job skills development, there's
Oh,
putting
yeah.
things on the resume, there's just generally being able to collaborate and discuss. And then the number one thing I always tell people, and so this will come down to the Get Your Refund was a Code for America project, right? That was a national.
Absolutely. Yes.
So that's a national project, but then there's
Mhm,
like we have our open transit project, which I talk
mhm.
about all the time, and we were working on it today, in fact, downtown. And I always tell people, if you get on a bus and people, well, they go, this software is better than it was, 2 months ago when we were using the other awful, I
Mhm.
won't name them, but the stuff,
Yeah.
they're a company, they're in Montreal somewhere, but oh, this works much better. And then well, yeah, I worked on that. And then you go like,
Mhm,
what would you fix? And then there will be a certain recognition that like,
mhm,
oh, you did this, you
mhm.
fixed this, you made it better. It's so much easier um, to enjoy what you're doing when you see people. And it's just like cooking, when you cook for somebody or whatever, right?
Yes.
When you get the response and you can actually
Oh, yes.
like So is it better than like, oh yeah, you totally, I'm there's a vision impaired passenger I talk to sometimes, and he has
Mhm,
said, the app that we use now, I can't see
mhm.
it, so I can't even use it. And
Oh,
that seems
wow.
like an oversight, no pun intended.
Right,
So,
yeah, right, right. You see, and
so,
yeah,
well, I mean, we were talking about that today, and it's like when we reach a point where we can show them, that is a person I will say, okay, how's this? Does this work better than what we had before? So you can actually do
yeah.
that.
Oh, and I was just gonna say that's the perfect example of what it is that you constantly need to do to make sure that you are on target, no matter how far it is or how old your app is that you're using, or whatever it is that you're trying to create, is to keep on getting that temperature from your audience. Because if you don't, you're not going to go ahead and be able to keep up. You're not going to go ahead and you're not going to be creating that usable factor there that they need, that is definitely going ahead and hitting every scorecard that they need. Otherwise, you go ahead. And I've had people, they say, oh yeah, we developed this, but it's not being used. What did you do? Any UX research on it? Did you interview anybody with it? Oh, no, no. Well, then how do you know it works? And then the major thing too is mobile accessibility. If you don't have mobile
Right.
accessibility, sorry, you're going to be lost, because that's where mostly everybody is. That's where it's at, mobile.
Yeah. Well, and so I was, so we up until our last, so we have a monthly hackathon here. So every
Mhm,
month we do 2 days of, it's not straight through because people have things to do, but we could. I may have mentioned this if anyone listening has heard me say this before. I used to work at Intel. I was at 47
mhm.
hackathons and all that. So I used to stay up for oh, you want to stay awake for 50 hours? I got you. I'm right here.
Which I still want to attend one of those, absolutely.
So,
Mhm.
but when we do them here, we nobody has to stay for the whole, like, hey, we have kids and lives,
Mhm.
but we had
Right.
a nice hackathon, what, three days ago,
Oh.
and the three people that were there, which sounds
Mhm,
weird, but hang on,
mhm,
hold on,
mhm.
they were all interested in the project that were the open transit project. So,
Mhm.
Michael is has 10 years of experience, but is now learning DevOps and actual coding. He's not been a coder
Mhm.
before.
Oh,
So he's
great.
like, yeah, I want to know. So he's interested in the estimator, which estimates the arrival time of a bus at a particular stop.
Oh,
And I'm
great.
like, okay, well, an essential component, and it's broken in
Mhm.
the stuff that our local transit company uses.
Right.
So we can improve that. We can
Mhm.
get the data from the real time feed. So I'm working on that part. And we have another person, Steffi, who's going to work on the front end. And then we have
Nice.
Anton. Anton's a veteran, and he decided I'm going to learn how to do front end design for web stuff. So he's working
Great.
on. So when we sat and we went through some design ideas and kind of not whiteboarded it, but we sketched it out,
Mhm,
at
mhm,
his computer.
mhm,
I said, I think it's important that we have a one-handed application so that you don't
mhm.
need to, it should be movable on the left and the right. I said, because on the one hand,
Yes.
it'll be, and I don't, no pun again, on the one
Uh-huh.
hand, somebody's carrying a backpack or they got their bike or whatever they're doing. So they have one
Yeah.
hand. And as well, it could be somebody not only in a wheelchair, but maybe somebody doesn't have both hands and whatnot. So I think
Mhm.
the people that are riding the bus, if you ride the bus, you see everybody has a
Mhm.
little different challenge.
Right.
And if you build a, here's the app, and you're like, well, I can't even see it. Well, that's the way it is.
Mhm. Yes.
that's where that's where we are now,
You
and
get
I think that's
you
ridiculous.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Because really, that's part of the point of making these accessible applications for people, is to make sure that it is actually truly accessible. Because if it's not, then really, what are you doing it for? Just like you said, the gentleman who cannot see it. So, I mean, maybe something that it can talk back to him instead of what it is that he's trying, the information he's
Yeah,
trying to get. And that's just it, is really we here are problem solvers. Not only that, we're caregivers. We love caring for others and making sure that we basically, I mean, nothing that's trying to be like, oh wow, all nothing but lollipops and rainbows, but really just trying to make the world a better place. Seriously.
yeah. Well, I mean, so I have about 30 years of engineering behind me, and I've told people, like, for the next half century that I'm doing this stuff, I would like to um, not focus on launching the next profit project,
Hmm.
right, to make the stock
Hmm.
price go up. So when you actually talk to people and you actually um, rather than, so I've used this term before, central planning versus,
Mm-hmm.
we look at stuff here. So instead of saying, and this is a big company or whatever, when you hear
Mm-hmm.
from on high, like, okay, this is what we're doing,
Mm-hmm.
you're like, eh. But when you actually can say, hey, there's a problem in our neighborhood, should we try to fix it? Like, yeah, sure. That, I think that's more fun and more rewarding because you do get to see results that you created.
Well, and then I believe too, you're right. It's more also relatable because
Yeah.
really you can't relate to someone's problem when it's on a banking app because they've got so many thousands of dollars that they're trying to go ahead and, get some type of a return on. No, but you can go ahead and relate to that problem that they're having with the transportation issues. You can, again, you talk to people there. So yes, it's making sure that you can go ahead and you're basically doing you're basically making good by a community that you're able to actually go ahead and interact with. You're able to go ahead and you know what the problem is. It's not something that's a faraway problem that is just totally not feasible. No,
Right.
when you do something about things that you know about a demographic that you happen to know, it is very rewarding. And I will say, I've been all my work has pretty much been nothing but volunteer. Um, and I'm fortunate in that way that I'm able to do that. But I think though too is that it's because of my disabilities that I'm able to go ahead and do that. So again, it's just having that eagle eye insight of how to go ahead and help individuals. Absolutely.
Your karma bank is runneth over.
Yeah, I think so actually. And actually, I just learned a community researching tool which is called Mahavapono, which is indigenous researching, and actually that is fantastic. It's based out of Hawaii, and I think that really that I just actually met the creator um, of that methodology, and the basis of that is really you hold community first, not the partner. And time is not supposed to be a factor because why do you want to go ahead and have a time constraint of maybe 6 months only to come out with a mediocre solution when if you take your time and make sure that you learn your community correctly, you don't have to go back in months or years later to go ahead and solve a problem that you could have just taken the time to do the first time.
That's true. But the other nice thing is, so I'm sure you've either heard of or done, I don't know how your workflows are.
Mm-hmm.
Ours are not there yet either way, but
Mm-hmm.
um, is continuous delivery, which is not, doesn't mean launching things every day, but
Mm-mm.
if you can say, in the case of open transit, if you are
Mm-hmm.
on the bus and somebody says, this works great, except, and you're like, wait, what? Except for what?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
then they might say, oh, it's difficult to see this, or this control is on the weird,
Mm-hmm.
it's on the wrong side, or it'd be more
Mm-hmm.
clear if you, and then you, next time you see them, they're like, hey, somebody fixed that. And I'm like, yeah, because you said something and I fixed it. So you don't have to wait
Yes.
months and months to do that. You can do that,
Yep.
when you,
Oh, yes, absolutely, absolutely, and I think that's what feels good. I had that experience, especially with GYR, because we were trying to. That was relatively new at the time. It had only been year two when I joined, so they went from Zendesk to us creating the app completely. So that was exactly it. We had to go ahead and figure out how we can get it to the public, how to go ahead and use a mobile app. Really go ahead and get down to brass tacks, and it was great. Just even after a month to hear, oh gosh, site is working fantastic. I didn't have the issues I had before. So yes, absolutely, very rewarding, very. And I even experience that now as a grand jury member with my community here. There's certain things that they've gone ahead and they've implemented because of a report, and we're getting ready to do a report now, and it's just very rewarding. It's so rewarding that I guess I'm guilty of going ahead and having my hand in too many my fingers in too many pies, but I love it. I enjoy it, and I that's one of my missions though. Like you had said, yes, volunteerism is hard because sometimes they don't see the brighter side of things and how it can go ahead and actually be a positive for them, because unfortunately everybody has to make that almighty dollar, which absolutely, but you can't make it unless you have that experience. And when you volunteer, you have to have patience, and that's how you get that experience.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, and I think there maybe it's in the way the story is told. Although, so in your Open Fresno or Code for Fresno has
Hmm.
been around long enough that there's a little bit of traction or
Oh
some
yeah.
sort of history. So here it's been a little bit tricky just
Hmm.
because we're brand new. But I
Yes.
think the the three people I mentioned, if we can get a couple of things in a demonstrable state pretty quickly, which we'll see
Hmm.
sometime in April,
Hmm.
because I always say the salary here is horrible, so you're not putting in 40 hours a week. But I said I promise you, if we can launch something that's an improvement on what's out there now,
Hmm.
you will have people. Not only will they be like, "Hey, this is better," but then when you listen to them and then they make suggestions, because you can start with version 1
Right.
and not even just the coder, right? Figma, that Anton is using, is a tool for creative people. I don't know how to use Figma,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's it's not a coder tool. It's a tool for creative people who are building the interface for things. So I always
Right.
say, don't let your coders do that stuff. We don't know what's going on. Have
Yeah.
somebody with an aesthetic sense. but but the first time that somebody says, this could be easier or more clear or more
Hmm.
accessible, or any feedback you get, that person has
Yes.
said, I'm going to offer a suggestion to make this product better. They're probably thinking for themselves, but they're probably speaking for a lot of people. Then
Oh, absolutely.
when you actually fix it, or you try,
Hmm.
and then
Hmm.
you say,
Hmm.
how's this, they're like, oh, I've become empowered to be a part of this process. I have become a co-creator.
Oh, yes.
And
Yes.
so co-creation culture in a city of innovation is completing the circle, if you will, because otherwise, like, oh, nobody cares, like, oh, actually we do.
Yeah. Oh, yes, yes. And hey, if your feedback happens to be negative, by all means give it, because all criticism can be constructive criticism too. So,
Sure.
also taking all that information with grace and resilience, because really, no matter whether you're on the front end, back end, full stack, or you're in the project management side, you're never going to do it perfect. You always have to have that feedback. So you also have to be graceful in taking that.
Right. Well, yes, that is totally true. But to also empower your customer, your user, your
Hmm.
the person that's tasting your food or using your
Hmm.
app
Hmm.
or looking at your artwork. How often do you get to tell an artist, like, what, I would change the shade of blue that you use in that paint? Oh, I'll get right
Yeah,
on that.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, you can't. Right.
But
Mhm.
but in this case, you can literally say the color or the layout or the information that's available or any aspect of it. And then when you actually can fix that and you get more feedback, then, because right now this is so true, whether you're an iPhone or an Android user or
Mhm.
whatever your TV, whatever these products are, there's always this, like, I don't like it, it's frustrating, and they never answer,
Yes.
they never listen to me. So when you can actually tell someone and they actually do something about it, and you're like, oh, that worked, okay, and now you've become a part of the process. So now when you next time, you'll say, well, how about this part? And you're like, oh yeah, we've heard that a couple times, so yeah, we're working on that. So they become a part of this. Then they'll tell their friends, and they're like, yeah, they actually listen.
Yes. Yes. Oh,
So
absolutely. And and really, from what you've told me, how Vegas has been for you and how it's kind of been a bit of a challenge, maybe that is one of the key aspects on your end, is to basically make community one of the number one, basically the partner. Because once that you have community members that see the value in that, along with those people who are actually creating that, it builds such of a, from you know from what I see, you've got from the ground up, you've got that energy that really, I mean, hey, once you get going, you're gone. And then bad bad word travels fast, but good word can travel good too, out bad really fast, because it was, hey, this guy heard me. I want you to talk to my neighbor. It's all about really getting that word out, especially when you are a nonprofit. Uh, word of mouth means a lot. Hmm.
yeah, arguably everything. I because some people don't know. I mean, I tell them because I
Hmm.
want them to be clear. what my interests are. So
Hmm.
I don't get paid. There's no salaries for anybody.
Right.
Our other board member is the original co-captain from Code for Vegas, Sean
Hmm.
Looker. If you're listening, I hope Sean
Yes.
will be my second guest. If he, I know he's moving soon, so but
Oh
somewhere in
wow.
there. But he and I've had this conversation, and hey, free is tough, but
Yes.
we're all in this together, as I say. So it's not like you're, and you and I have had this conversation, and we'll wait till the end for the CFA stuff. But
Uh-huh.
I I
Definitely.
don't want to be a paid person telling volunteers what to do. So I'm a volunteer, just like they are,
Absolutely.
and so they and I. This is one of the tricky parts, but it's a skill to learn. Is, I'm not telling you what to do. I have some suggestions, but you
Hmm.
should feel like you can also, like, hey, I think that part's wrong. I'm like, okay, let's adjust and do, try this and that. This is an experimental city that we can play in. We can try all this stuff out. So
Exactly. Yes. Oh, and collaboration. Yeah, that you just got it right there. Yeah. I mean, you have to. That's one thing that really needs to be framed, and not just framed, but I think more brought home is the fact that it is a collaboration. It's not. There's no hierarchy. No, nothing like. No, no. It's we're trying to figure this out together.
right.
And really, like you said, when you get paid, sometimes that's really not the feeling you're going to get. But here you do, because that's exactly, you don't come to a solution on your own. You do it as a team together with somebody else who can help you buffer that.
Right. And you have your co-developers, but that co-creation element is, and this became, I mean, I've known this over the years, but never more
Mhm.
clear than when you develop a thing and then you
Mhm.
go to where your customers are using the thing, and
Mhm.
they will tell you. I always say, if you think you're good at something, sit next to somebody using your thing, whatever it is, cook food, food,
Yes.
drink, whatever. They will tell you if you're good at it. You don't have
Oh,
to think you are.
absolutely.
So,
Exactly.
hey,
Mhm.
the documentation on this thing is horrible. Like, yeah, I agree, actually.
Yeah. Exactly, exactly. But again, it's also you're being willing to go ahead and accept whatever it is
Sure,
that happens to come your way on that front. Because if you're just thinking, "Hey, I'm all that in a bag of chips," and then you get a very less than mediocre kind of response, you got to be resilient enough to say, "Okay, no problem. Let me get back on that saddle."
sure. Well, and so I think personally, I think it was helpful. So I entered the job market in the Bush 41
Mm,
recession at the end. So
wow.
um,
Yeah.
I moved to Silicon Valley after I graduated, and the job market was a little weird. So I have my nice shiny engineering degree, and like, oh, I can get a job as a tester at Apple.
Yeah.
Okay. So then it was like, oh, you're just a tester. But it turns out when you start in that section of the hierarchy, if you will. So I
Hmm.
learned how to be a tester, and I had to put up with the engineers, like, it works on my machine, and whatever, you're bothering me. But as I became, more developer, and sometimes, because you always should be able to test your own code, right? But I used to tell
Absolutely.
people, if you find something, you tell me, because that's makes my work better. That's what you're
Yes.
supposed to do. And I've heard from people even recently, as last year, oh, I
Mhm.
always thought QA and engineering were kind of adversarial. And I was like, everybody is working for the same people. Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Mm.
yeah, I mean, I've come to view that role, and some people say you shouldn't even have those job titles, right? It should just be everybody's
Right.
working on the product. But the QA people are advocates for the customer, right? So they're the
Oh,
last stop
absolutely.
before. So they should be even more aware of what's being built, what's being shipped, and what doesn't
Mhm.
work. So I view that as a the top of the pyramid, if you will, not the it's
Yes.
that's not a job to take not seriously. It's like, hey, you're the last stop on the way out the door, and you got to make sure this stuff works. So
Oh, yeah, yeah. And to me, actually, that's even more important because really, if you don't take that one last stop to go and take a look, then really you're going to have something that's just not even, it's going to be mediocre that no one's even going to use. Because why? Because no, you didn't take that last stop to make
right.
sure that you got that temperature. Hmm.
And you
Hmm.
don't want to hear, I hope I don't want to hear, oh, this is just as bad as the other thing, or it's worse.
Oh
And you're
yeah.
like,
Oh
ah.
yeah. 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 Exactly. It's like, oh my gosh, my back it hurts. Don't. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. No. Definitely. Definitely not. Mhm.
And the funny thing is, whether you hear it or not, whether you actually go out and ask questions, they're going to say it. They're saying it anyway. They're saying right now, like I'm always saying, the transit app. Oops, I mean the app from Montreal uh, is just awful. It's minimally viable, but it has so many issues.
Yes.
So
Yes. Now, I think too that really that's the thing is also taking your time with those issues.
sure,
Like I said, we're so caught up on time frames that sometimes the the element of time is so important that yes, it's important you get it out there with with a great speed sometimes. But if you're not under the wire, don't rush it because really that could actually be the end of your demise, really, because of the fact that you didn't take the time to
sure.
make sure that you developed something that was not, that was more than mediocre, that was, actually going to hit home.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
well, plus, so the world of open source software, it has a reputation on the whole, which is, if you develop open source software, you will eventually be hired by someone because they can see your work, they see
Yes.
what you're doing, they see how active you are, and where your strengths are and all that.
Hmm.
So yeah, it doesn't help anything if we just try to get it out the door because it's got to work by Friday. We have no such
Yes.
constraints. And I tell people, as part of the value add or the value proposition,
Hmm.
is not only do you get to volunteer and work on something that's interesting and has real
Hmm.
potential to be community elevating,
Oh yeah.
but ideally someone will say, oh, I have a project, you want to work on it. So everybody gets full attribution for their work, which some organizations aren't into as much.
Right, right.
But
Exactly. Yes.
this is your work. It's not my work. It's not the company. It's your work. It's open source, so other people can benefit from your efforts. But your name is attached, and ideally,
Mhm.
and maybe there's going to be some donations or some, like, hey, can we just give you, like, tip you, or there are
Right,
various
right.
models where you can try to tip people, if you will, but
Right, right.
also jobs or other fame and fortune. Who knows? So
Oh, absolutely. And I think that that's a very important point, really, is that, hey, not only is it something that can go and get your foot in the door, but really a lot of things are going open source now. Open
yeah,
source is it. So, if you know how to work that GitHub, you know how to work that open source platform, hey, that's the thing to do right now.
yep.
Seriously. Hmm. I don't
So
think people really realize that. Hmm.
yeah, I mean, as you say, so the people that are more junior, they're just starting out, or they're maybe a career change. So it's a little weird to think, like, wait, I just do this and nobody's paying me. Like, well, not yet. Well, I have a whole collection. I have a giant telephone book, and by the way, that's a book that used to have everybody's phone number in it. For those who aren't,
That used to be in those phone booths, right?
yeah, it was literally, yeah, a phone booth. That's a thing that was a box
Oh,
with a
I
phone
know.
in it,
I just aged myself, sorry.
and they used to put these coins in, and those coins were used for money.
Yeah,
Anyway,
they started at
so
10 cents, that's right.
oh, I was in the. Oh yeah, I was. Now I think I remember 10 cents. Um,
Yeah.
when regular gas was 79 cents, but that was as
Oh
far
my
back as I go.
gosh, yeah. Oh, no,
But
that's when I first started driving, yes.
but when
Distant dreams.
one of the things I say to people, because I have a telephone book size of little expressions, I say I don't want people to work for free, but I want to work for people willing to work for free, because those are the people that are
Mhm.
interested. They'll actually take care of what they're working on, and they'll be interested in what other people are working on to collaborate and whatnot. So,
Yes.
you know, like, as I try to make it clear, my goal is to not make you do things for free and then go, ah, ha, ha, ha. It's, I want people to hire you. I want you to feel like you did something cool. I want people to go, oh, you're the one that fixed the thing that we were, everybody hated before. So
Right, right. Well, that's just it. You have genuine intent, and that can be seen from a mile away, as well as people who don't. So we're talking, yes, when you're in this kind of a arena, if you don't have genuine intent, also they don't last because the fact that that's exactly what they're looking for is money. And hey, sorry, sometimes there is not funds to go ahead and have that pizza at that meeting. You can't just go there for the pizza at the meeting. You have to go there because you have the genuine intent and genuine want to help your community.
yep.
Hmm.
Even though the road is long, we are
That's
playing.
right.
We're playing an infinite game now, so we have plenty of gas.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
so what is happening in the back to my notes? What's happening in the volunteer scene? And again, we're going to save the actual uh,
Mhm.
the gossip, I guess, for the end. But the just in general, are you so you're seeing more people volunteering? Are you seeing less or fewer? Are you seeing like more interest but less action? Is there more concern about money lately with inflation? Like what's going on in the last year or so?
Well, actually, the last year or so, we've been quite fortunate. We have had an upswing with volunteerism. I'm very fortunate that we went ahead and we collaborated with Code for SAC, which will now be OpenSAC. We are doing right now is called Trash AI. It is a app that for data researchers, for science researchers, they go ahead and they used to do with pen and paper was go ahead and see exactly what kind of treasure are picking up, what kind of impurities there were, the polyurethanes and the plastics, such. Well, now they can go ahead and they can use our app, and within a matter of seconds after uploading their picture, the polyurethanes, the percentage, and whatever it is that's in there, the trash that they took a picture of is already it comes up within seconds. Right now, we also are working though on the recognition, because it is AI, of course, not down to a stellar point to where we're got it perfect, but that's okay. We're constantly working on that. So now we're also working on that called Open Specky, which will do that as well for the water. Um, we also have a few other projects. So actually, it's been on an upswing, although hence because of the change though that we've been having in our societies, hence the word AI. So, yes, now we have other things that we're trying to go ahead and implement that does take some very particular knowledge in that, yeah, it is hard to find sometimes people who want to volunteer for that because the fact that people who do AI usually can make pretty good bucks and
Right.
they have made pretty good bucks. So, yeah, that has been quite a challenge on that front.
Although you can, I mean, if you're making so many bucks, you can spend, as my East German friend Detlef used to say, you spend 24 hours a day working on your paying gig, and you volunteer at night. So
Oh, absolutely. And then you can put it on your resume and hey, you look even
that's right.
better.
The
Uh,
well, I actually so the in all seriousness though, if you are getting, so I just saw a headline today that
mhm.
it's people that can write chatbot, or like they call it a chatbot,
Oh,
but chat
yeah, yeah.
GPT, um,
Yes.
if they can do, they're getting paid, up to three
Oh,
hundred
yeah.
thousand dollars. Well, if you find yourself in a cubicle or a coffee shop, wherever you're getting that kind of money,
Mhm,
you eventually divorce yourself from interacting with people that are just normal, that are, because you're
yes.
spending all your time making this money. So people that I talk to that have been in a mentoring role, so they're actually the expert and they're helping out
Mhm,
the new junior level, whatever. And this could be
mhm.
artists, could be engineers, could be anything.
Right. Mhm,
Uh, I used to say this in all seriousness from the hackathons I went to. I learned more from them because they were always telling us what we were doing wrong. They were just trying to do their projects
mhm,
and I could help them pretty easily, but they already knew what they wanted to do. So I was helping them with that one little, like, oh, you have to change this, or you have to put the wire over there.
mhm,
So
mhm.
they weren't really strictly learning from me. They were just getting a couple of the answers to the questions. But we were
Right.
learning what we did wrong with our product, right? So
Absolutely.
when you interact with people that are still learning, then you go, oh, that's right, I completely forgot about that. I forgot that worked that way. Or so it
Oh,
is
absolutely.
valuable if people realize that.
Well, it is, and I think too that you've brought about a good point there. Is that really we're having a lot more of our younger generation come on the scene, which means that we have our older generation that really, hey, we're working longer. We're working. We're not quitting at 65 or 67. So why not go ahead and pass that knowledge that you have, pass it down, be a mentor. Make sure that don't look at it as if you're going to be replaced by the newer and bigger and better. No, no, you're passing the baton. You're passing down a legacy of what it is that you've learned to those who are going to go ahead and be our future. So really, and hey, regardless of whether we like it or not, our younger generation is going to take over. So why not go ahead and get them already packed up with the armor they need and learning of the guardrails that they need to learn now, then have them go ahead and learn on their own.
Yes. Oh, and well, yeah, self-taught is somebody said I'm self-taught, and I said, yeah, you sound like my doctor. But
Yeah, exactly.
so
Well, yeah,
there,
I suggest you go to a different doctor,
yeah,
but I'm
yeah,
just
no
saying.
kidding. Now, my lawyer said being self-taught is not a big deal though. So,
Yeah.
um, but people, so being self-taught is fine because I've certainly taught
Oh,
myself a
yeah.
lot. But that doesn't mean you have to be completely self-taught. So the value of them, the learning from some and teaching, like you know what they say, if you can if you know something really well, you should be able to explain it to someone else.
Right.
And so you're really just honing your skills at that point, and that
Right.
seems to me to be worth something. But yeah, not everybody has the time to, I'm not going to say give back, but they don't have the time to really, because it's a self investment too. So you can
Oh,
treat it
absolutely.
as, oh, I'm giving my time, but no, you're actually, it's a completing of your education when you can explain things to other people.
Oh,
So
absolutely. Absolutely. And proof of your education, really.
yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
So that is, and that doesn't always apply to coding. I always try to include the fact that everything I say, because of my 30
Hmm.
years of doing it, I'm not an artist. I'm not particularly creative, but all these apply to all this, right? You learn by helping others, by teaching others, all that. So
Oh, absolutely. Well, I will say I work on the project management side. I do not know much about coding itself as far as actually writing out the code, but I do know about certain, what makes things work, Python and different stuff, different types of programs that can help you. So, therefore, when you're well versed, really, no matter what you're well versed in, whether it be project management, whether it be the tech side of it, no matter what, it takes all of those entities to make that product work. So, really, there's room for everybody.
yep.
You don't have to just be tech savvy. No.
And to even extend that yet further, people, so the whole team approach, right? So people doing the
Hmm.
creative, the artistic, the visual,
Yes.
the audio, the media,
Hmm.
the user experience, the more they're involved, not in a separate building in a big corporation, or everybody's working 24-hour schedules so they don't ever talk to each other, it's all through weird meetings. But if you can actually interact across these cross-functional areas, if you like, or cross
Hmm.
skills, or
Hmm.
so like one of the things I keep telling people, which we haven't materialized this yet, but hopefully soon,
Hmm.
you know, so even though we're innovateforvegas.org is our website, which hopefully by the time somebody's listening to this, we'll have something there because that's on my list. But we also have code for .vegas and create for .vegas. And
Hmm.
I've described it as, uh, here's where the people that are working on the tech stuff can have a separate website. And so we'll feature different things. But
Hmm.
really, what I'm kind of imagining is that the Create For website will be like, we need somebody to do some of the coding part, and the Code For people will be like, we need our website to look better. So really, I'm hoping there will be that cross pollination of ideas and stuff. But
Oh, most definitely.
that's, it's generally important, and people are too quick to think it's like, well, this is my thing, and I don't have to worry about what you're working on, and so, and that extends. I know I'm taking up some of that time right now, but
No, 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 no. Hey, no, no, you're fine.
I mean, I can talk for an hour if you want to just hang
Well,
out.
so could I too. I know. What a combo.
But as more and more, because so AI has been ridiculous. I mean, I worked at
Yeah.
Netscape when we were doing web browsers, and the web was the new thing, and that was
Hmm.
crazy.
Hmm. Right.
This is ludicrous, and
Oh,
they're.
yeah.
I thought it was scary that nobody understands how a blockchain works, and they're
Oh,
investing their life savings and whatever. Here,
yeah.
people are like, I don't even read or write anything anymore. And to me, you're using a technology that, first of all, is still very experimental, and second of all, you don't understand it,
Yep.
right? Like not
Oh,
you, but
absolutely.
so
Right, right. No, no.
if you're going to put all your eggs in that basket, and then you're like, oh, Chat GPT is down, I can't do anything, I can't send any emails or write any documents, I don't even have a pen anymore. So
Yeah.
so to me, having local talent, local innovation by local innovators, that's another one of my tropes.
Hmm.
You at least will be able to say, oh, well, at least I know the people that built some of these things are here. They're not just some
Hmm.
weird company in another country or another planet even. They're here, they're local, they have some interest that I do. So some of this stuff,
Right.
even though I don't understand it, at least it's here. So my concern is that as more and more things are happening outside of your anybody's reach, You're like,
Right.
it's just some robot is writing some code or letters or describing a cookie recipe or doing whatever. I don't even have to think anymore. And to me, that's kind of
Right.
dangerous. So,
Oh, no, I agree. I agree. Just like there's the other app there that can go ahead and you just plug in what it is that you want, your paper or a book or whatever it is you want it to be. Um, Say you just plug in the genre, you plug in the reading level you even want it to read at, and just give it a few little things to go by, and then it'll write the whole document out for you.
yep.
Yeah, I mean, that's wow. That is great. Although, just like anything, just like you said with the pen and paper, people don't know how to work. Hey, we got doctors. They can't even work without a prescription pad once that their stuff goes down, and some of them don't even have it. Why? Because we relied so much on technology.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yep.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's only becoming more true. And I'm almost like,
Yes.
I saw an article, I think it was today or yesterday, that the end of programming, that's going to be it. It's going to be all, like, really is, because once you start that, during the pandemic, so this was only 3 years ago, say 2 to 3 years ago,
Hmm.
there are no more COBOL programmers. That whole HR system in Florida broke down. So now you're going to be like, the entire system was written by an AI that nobody really understood, and now it's gone haywire, and
Yeah.
it's making paper clips out of everything. And now what do we do? And well, I don't know. Nobody knows how the code works. Oh, okay. Well, can we get Bard to
Yeah.
from Google?
Yeah. Exactly.
So yeah, I'm hoping that understanding and creativity will not go out the window for the sake of a chat GPT prompt.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Although, hey, just like anything, just like doctors, it's a practice. Why? Because you're practicing.
Yeah.
So, what are we doing? We're coding. We're learning. Everyone's learning, no matter what it is, no matter what industry you're in. There's always a learning curve you have to have, and there's always going to be constant learning from there forth, no matter what.
I agree. And well, yeah, and again, when you help other people, oh, I'm too busy. I'm getting big money to, well, but if you help other people, you'll actually get better yourself. Oh, I never thought about it that way.
Right,
Yeah. Oh, look
right.
at that.
And you brought up a very good point right there as well, because one thing we do with our volunteers that I think has actually helped to have that volunteer retention there. We make sure that from the get go, we onboard them to let them know this is what we expect. And basically, it's just you go and contribute, not a problem. If you're going to be gone for any kind of extended period of time, please let us know. If this isn't the right fit, please let us know. Otherwise, make sure all your pull requests are done because we use GitHub. Make sure that you let everybody know where you're at as far as anything that needs to go ahead and be duly noted. Make sure you do that. Otherwise, hey, come and go as you please. Just
Right.
make sure that we are aware of what's going on because, sorry, ghosting people and ghosting, especially organizations that are helping others, it doesn't help our productivity. If anything, it holds us back.
That is a thing that um, I'm not going to blame people, but it's just something that people don't often think of. And this is probably just in general. Um,
Mhm.
Hey, I don't feel like volunteering here anymore. I'm going to leave. And you're like, well, you've just impacted everyone else that is
Right.
relying on what you're doing. I have one of my other ones in the phone book is, uh, oh, I would like to be a volunteer firefighter. Okay,
Mhm.
great. We're having a fire right now. Like, oh,
Right.
I didn't want to. You mean right now? Oh no, I didn't. I didn't actually mean I was going to show up. Like, but you're the first bucket. We need a bucket brigade, and so now you're going to cost it. So the value of volunteering is kind of a two-way street, and you actually cost people when you don't show up.
Absolutely. But then again, you can also go ahead and relieve that by going ahead and for us, we just go ahead, hey, just be upfront and honest. You can't do it. Hey, everybody's got family.
Right.
Everybody's got circumstances, no problem. So we just make sure, and I'm sure you do the same, is you just make sure that no problem. You can't do it. Just let us know because when people feel that they can't be honest about something, that's when you get the ghosting. That's when you get the people who just, oh, all of a sudden you see them in the store and they're trying to hide because you didn't see me. No, no, no. You know what? Hey, we're all people. Not a big deal. But just let us know so we can pick up the speed. Because regardless of what, this is getting built, and we need to make sure we have our manpower
Right.
that's building it.
Well,
Hmm.
and it becomes more clear is that not only if you don't show up, it's the bucket brigade, whatever. But
Mhm,
if you're working on something that other people were hoping to release or to launch or to
mhm,
finish or to,
mhm.
whether it's a artwork or whatever it is, if you've
Right.
exited, like, oh, now it's going to take twice as long or whatever, whatever's involved. But
Mhm,
I mean,
mhm.
it's a ripple effect that I think people don't often consider. And it's one of those
Right.
job skills. It's a professionalism thing where you're like, oh, I appreciate the time you're putting in. So I'm going to try to,
Right.
to wrap up my end. We're trying out a agile for volunteers. And I'm like, if I know I can't,
Mm,
we're not paying you, but if you
mhm,
can stay for a 2 week iteration or sprint, at the end of
mhm,
2 weeks, whatever you finish, make sure you've, wrapped it up so you can hand it off if needed. And then
mhm.
if you want to stick around for another 2 weeks, great. But just commit for the 2 weeks. And it's not even 24 hours a day for 2 weeks. It's at the end of 2 weeks, have spent some time, try to get something done, try to commit it or to add it to the project in some way, whatever is appropriate.
Mhm, mhm.
And if you have to move on from there, okay, but at least you did the 2 weeks. We'll put your name on the contributor list and
Right.
all that. So I think that's fairly minimum and minimal, I should
Yeah.
say. And yeah,
Right.
we'll see how it goes. My team of the four of us, we're working on open transit proactively now. There are other projects, and I know we've talked about open
Mhm,
transit, but that's the one
mhm.
that's getting all the attention right now. So that's good. But
That's great.
for in a couple of weeks, we'll see if everybody's interested in continuing to want to work on it. We'll do another 2 weeks. We'll see what happens. So
Yeah. Let me know how that works out because I will tell you that we have kind of we've tried to do kind of like the sprint thing, and of course not on our own accord, but along with others. And that one has been a little bit a harder lift for us here in the Central Valley area because we tend to have a lot of people who take care of their folks, they go elderly. So it's sometimes we have had people that just say, we've had a lot of people all of a sudden in one meeting, and then all of a sudden we're down to just the core team on the next. And we hold meetings every week, every Wednesday, and every Saturday. Anybody can join if they want. But bottom line though is that hey, sometimes things come up, and yeah, that's been kind of hard for people to realize that hey, just let us know because like you said, it wears thin on people when they don't realize that we're under pressure because, yeah, we're building this. And if we don't have that manpower, as long as we know what to deal with, as long as we know what we're down to, hey, that right there is half the battle. Because when you don't know and you're expecting people to show up, oh, it does make it hard. So we did try kind of like let's try to make this an accelerated thing, and that was a little bit more difficult. So let me know how that goes. Let me know what kind of tactics you use to kind of have those guardrails up because it has been a difficult one for us here.
well, yeah, we're still. I was just we had our meeting today, Wednesday,
Hmm.
March 29th. That's today, and
Right,
I was describing how all through 2022, we were obviously still new. We already talked about this. January, talked to
right,
Mary.
yes,
June, we
hmm,
formed the nonprofit. October, determination. So we're still brand new,
yeah,
still shiny,
yeah. It
still
was right after Christmas. You're right.
that's right. New,
Yes,
new car smell, still got it.
that's right.
So it's not like we've had a tremendous amount of
Right.
interaction, but the early people that were kicking tires, so to speak, were like,
Hmm.
oh, not really interested. So it's really hard to
Hmm.
get that momentum started. But I think
Yeah.
this team we have right now will experiment. We'll see what works, and like everything else, if you listen to your users or your team, they'll tell you. So
Oh,
we'll see how it goes.
absolutely. Oh, yeah. Plus, not only that, I think that really you've done an excellent job of really being out there in the community. I think you've done a really good job of you making sure that individuals know that you're there and that you're there to stay. And I think that's just excellent. That right there speaks volumes.
I don't know volumes of what though. If it's the encyclopedia, encyclopedia insanity, or who knows.
Well, no, you know what it is that sometimes it's not the right timing. But if they know that some individuals, if they know that you're there, you may not get them for that one project that you had them in mind for, but they may come along months later or years later, all of a sudden, maybe a year from now, and hey, I'm looking for something. Well, guess what? It's right up their alley. And because the fact that you stayed in there, your stick to itiveness, that's what got them coming back.
Well, we will see how that goes. But the like I said, this group of four of us, because I've been saying for several times, if we had 3 to 6 people to work
Yes.
on a particular thing, we could get
Yes,
to
you
version
have.
one. So yeah, so 4 people. We'll see if we can get just a basic thing out to actually, because I used to work at Philips on
Mhm.
flat displays, and I was describing this today. I said, when you're trying to get a new display controller working, I don't even want to describe what that is, but
Right, right.
while you plug it in, you make sure it doesn't burn or smoke. They call it the smoke test,
Mhm.
right? And then you oh, no picture, there's no image on this, so you spend a lot of time debugging a blank screen. But once you have a
Mm.
picture even the picture is screwed up, but at least there's pixels being drawn on the screen. You're like, oh, now I can actually fix things.
Mhm.
Before we were wandering around. So I said, if we actually just launch version one of something, just the basics, then we can go, oh, okay, now we know what we have to add, we have to fix, what we have to change. It gives you a target that you can actually chase to make it better, right? Like, oh, let's fix that. Let's
Oh,
do that. But until then,
yes.
it's just been telling. I need to show and don't tell, right? So
Oh, yeah.
if we can tell the story and people go, oh, okay, I'm interested. Now we can actually show something maybe next month or so. Suddenly now we're cooking with gas, right? So
Oh,
I'm I'm
absolutely.
hoping that will be the case.
Oh, I sure hope so too, because I know you've been having that a long time coming for you.
I hope so.
Because
It's not for
you've really
me.
put a
It's for
lot.
everybody. It's not for
Oh, no,
me.
no, no. Yeah, well, for your community. How about
But
that? Correction, correction.
I will feel, because I have my go to is, why are you doing all this for free? You don't. I say I do it all for free, and for one reason. Oh no, how do I make money if I do all this for free? The answer is simple: volume. I totally screwed up that
Oh,
joke,
there you go. There you
but that is if
go.
anybody's a Saturday Night Live fan, it's the Change Bank. You can look that up on the YouTube. But I
I will
think
find him.
I think we have reached the point of the show, the episode where we can talk about the elephant named Code for America that you've already
Oh,
mentioned,
yeah.
but that the
Oh, yeah.
recent so that there have been changes of late where the
Yes.
brigades in different localities are being set free.
Yes, they call it sunsetting, which
Uh,
it was kind of it was a little bit difficult for some of us to swallow. Again, I did not come to the space as a brigade leader, so I'm able to swallow that pill a little bit easier, I think, than others. But yes, they're going to go ahead and, quite frankly, we were originally only supposed to be a pilot, the brigade. So I feel that, quite frankly, we're lucky we made it this far. But yes, they're going to go ahead and basically they are going to concentrate more on their safety net services and let us go ahead and go on our own. Which that's it really, you've got your upside and your downsides on all of them, no matter what. Um, it's been difficult in the sense that we did not know that it was. We knew things may have been on the horizon, but we did not realize it was the horizon this year. But I think that a lot has to speak for, as anything, you have to be resilient, and you have to just deal with it with grace. Um, because unfortunately, it is what it is. Our that's why it's been kind of confusing for us for code for Sacramento, because it's a code for, they must change their names. So where there are still more things that are being finalized as far as the end result by the time December 31st comes. But yes, it is going to be a change. I personally am hoping that we are still somewhat connected as brigades, because of the fact that really there's a lot to say when you have a network of individuals, no matter where you're from, whether it be New York or Arizona, that we're able to call on each other and we're able to be there for one another, regardless of the time zone. So I really hope that that networking stays there on a personal note and professional front. Absolutely.
were the so I know so Code for America. I have expressed my concerns that they did more central planning and they weren't really
Right.
closer to the teams. But when when the brigades, as they are and as they are sunsetting, were they already collaborating effectively on projects, or was it all going through Code for America? In other words, is there already that network established, or is there going to be a reconnect? Or
Well, actually, that's what is really amazing about this, is that really everybody that goes ahead and has a brigade in their community are already working within that community. A lot of them are working with the government entities themselves, whether it be doing that safety net service element there that is needed. So really, we've got a lot of Code for Chicago, Hack for LA, Boston. A lot of them are really very established, well established. So now it will be difficult for some of them to change their names and to be known as a different entity. But no, a lot of them are already basically, hey, they're like a self-made man, already established.
But then, so obviously everybody knows Mary Norris, but if you cannot be the one, the gateway for all communication. So
Oh no.
would someone in Chicago know that they can look up someone in Phoenix or in Miami and say, "Hey, we're working on this project. Do you have any?" And then they, maybe they'll say, "Yes, we're working on something similar. We can collaborate." And I
Hmm.
will tell you, I don't know if you're familiar with the Civic Hacking Network, for example.
Yes.
Lori McNeil is. We actually both went to Claremont colleges, so we have that nerdy
Great.
side of things. We I went to her meetup at the end of February, and someone there said her name was Tatiana. I think she
Hmm.
was in Chicago actually. She
Hmm.
said we are working on this platform to help with finding missing people, and
Hmm.
I said, "Oh, how strange!" I During the pandemic, I went through an accelerator at my college, Harvey Mudd College, and
Hmm.
it was we called it search party, and it was about missing pets and
Hmm.
property, and it was like lost and
Oh
found as a
wow.
service. So we ended up having this conversation, and I'm like, I have a whole business model, and there's a whole like a path to the. So
Hmm.
it was an interesting discussion, but she's like a student, so it will
Hmm.
carry on however it does. But the fact
Right.
is, I would not have had that discussion had I not connected during this meetup online.
Hmm.
So some of that is serendipitous, as we used to say here
Yeah.
in Vegas. But is there a network forming kind of at the ground level, at the intra and inter both
Yes.
communities and brigade and former brigades? Because otherwise everybody's kind of on their own, right? I don't know if that's the
You know,
feeling that you're on your own, but
well, actually, we've never really been on our own because even currently, if anybody were to go ahead and go on the CFA Code for America website and they look up brigades, you can already go ahead and you get onto each brigade's website. You can go ahead and get directly in touch with the leaders. So now, yes, it's going ahead and doing that on our own front. Now, as individual entities not associated with CFA, so that's what we're working on currently is to make sure we do not lose that connectivity that we've had all this time. Um, because yes, it is very y- like you just said. You talk to people from all over the place. That's a wonderful thing about working remotely. Is that really you're not limited to who it is you speak with. You're not limited to the project that you volunteer with because it is remote. So I am hoping that we do not lose that element. And that we do continue to, I mean, I gotta say, CFA has gone ahead and given us a great start to go ahead and do that because we do have that connectivity currently. From what I understand, we will have it until the end of the year. So now it's just a matter of giving everybody that um, the website that they need to go to reach us once that CFA is no longer hosting that at the end of the year. So we are trying to implement that now so that way we can get a jump on it. Because yes, you're right. It is hard when you do have people that you're talking to. And hey, yeah, really, yeah, you could volunteer for it, but it would be great if they had somebody within their local community that they could lean on for that.
sure.
Absolutely.
Well, and so here in Vegas, I've been saying this for 10 years. We have a discovery problem. So
Mhm.
where is who is meeting with? Is there a thing going on? Oh, it was yesterday. How am I supposed to figure that? So there's
Yes.
just this general sort of, you have to know or have heard the right thing at the right time. And so
Yes.
making it easier to discover things, we have a project called Smart Social, which is how a smart city talks to itself. So
Mhm.
that's a major component, is discovery of just what's going on, so I can
Oh
figure
yeah.
it out, how to connect and discuss and learn and all these things. So when
Mhm.
so something like this, to me, when there is the final goodbye at the end
Mhm.
and they've shut down the the explicit connections. Hopefully by then
Right.
there will have been this discovery process at least. Like maybe I haven't talked to every other person involved with a former brigade, but at least I know how to
Right.
find them or how to, you know,
Right. Right. Yes. Yes. And I think that CFA. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go ahead and
no,
interrupt
no,
you.
no.
Um, I think that CFA actually, from what I understand, I believe that they are really more than willing to help us elevate that new place to connect with us, because really, they also know that we have been a very big part of our communities. We have gone ahead and um, actually, I think that they don't realize. I think they didn't realize until recently, really, just how much we've done in our communities. So I think that really they are now, especially coming to that realization, willing to go ahead and help us accelerate on our own. And as they put it, sunset us, um, as they say, to go ahead and actually still continue to accomplish the things that we have done so far, and to continue to do so. Hmm.
Well, I would hope so. Cause,
Yeah.
so the, in case anyone's curious, so when we were rebooting Code for Vegas, we started by having the open transit hackathon and we had the website and we started getting that put back together. And our intent was to be a brigade again and get the band back together, as they say. And you mentioned the revisioning process, and that is a capital R and a capital V,
Right.
revisioning.
Right.
And so, it's cool. And there was a, oh, don't join, we can't, we don't know. And there was a lot of hand
Mhm,
waving and not certain.
mhm.
And then we were told that you can't use the name and this and that. And we were like, well, that's fine because nobody
Right.
likes Code for Vegas anyway. They think we're telling them that you're not good enough or something. So our name
Right.
change
Right.
was fine. And it turns out, obviously during and now looking back, I'm, I guess glad is a word I could use, but it's
Mhm.
probably been better that we were independent from the get go.
Yes.
We're a standalone charity. We are self-deterministic. So
Mhm.
we're locating projects that will affect local people and that are interesting.
Right.
So I think that's been better, but because we were never really connected to Code for America, I don't know how this transition will go, but
Mm, mhm, mhm.
I'm sure it'll be interesting. I'm sure I'll hear details about it along the way. So
Oh, most definitely, most definitely. But I think you are right. I think that it has been a little bit of a jolt to those of us who were not seeing it coming. But I think you are right. In the end, I think it will be still. I think as long as, like I said, we deal with it with resiliency and we continue to get our names out there, we continue to show up in our communities the way we have been, and continue to do so um, with even more of a gusto there. I don't think that we can go wrong. Really, I think that we can continue to thrive, and even more so. Maybe even go ahead and do a whole new community within our own that is maybe called something different, but still continue to collaborate with each other as we have been. Yeah.
that seems reasonable. And I mean, the more, so there are tools that, I hate to, not Twitter and Facebook, but there are
Right.
tools on the horizon now, the Mastodons and um,
Hmm.
the Matrix is the decentralized chat platform with even,
Right.
secure and then, so there are a lot of the Slack is being taken up, no pun intended again, with open source tools that are completely functional and address things like maintaining communications between disparate communities and whatnot. And
Yes.
I think it, it would be interesting if people involved in this could be a little bit meta, and that's a totally
Hmm.
different company that we should ignore, but to to actually think like, wait a minute, we do this is what we do, we could actually make tools that will work
Mhm.
for us and connect
Yes.
different groups and whatnot. And it's almost because you know how horrible, like Indeed, for
Mhm.
example, resume searches and things.
Oh
You don't
gosh, yes.
like. I'm looking for someone to help with this project we're working on. Someone in a volunteer
Right.
capacity in a brigade somewhere, or former brigade. How do you
Right.
find that person? Is it as nightmarish as hunting for a candidate for a job position, or is there a way you can say, I need to talk to the two people in the country that I know are volunteers and can do trash identification, right, or whatever.
Oh, see, now that is very interesting. We've been working on something to do that, because really it's also, why do we want to reinvent a wheel when you don't have to, if it's already been done, or if you can go and know what the guardrails are. So that is one of the things that, yes, I think would be a great thing for us to go ahead and have an instant go to. As far as volunteers go, though, Democracy Lab, that has been a fantastic avenue for individuals to know. And it basically, it's all volunteers. You just go ahead and you put up your project, whatever it is that you need a volunteer for, and they will come. And we're talking, it's really the gentleman who runs it, Mark. He is fantastic. He's there for everybody, wants to make sure that, hey, this is all learning curve. So he wants to go ahead and go that extra mile to make sure that we're going to go ahead and be able to create the tools that we're trying to create with the individuals that we need at our side, by him going ahead and making sure that he maintains that superior, I guess you could say, shout out for those volunteers that really have that civic tech passion in them. And he just goes ahead and he hones in on that. And it's been fantastic. I've seen some really nice volunteers come out of there that have been to a lot of brigade projects, different brigades throughout the nation here, that have just been excellent. And we're talking, sometimes he even does go to Europe. We've got people from Europe who will collaborate from us. So really, there is no limit. You set the limit. If you want to go ahead and you want to be just strictly in person, hey, go for it. But if you want to go ahead and broaden your horizon, you want to go ahead and go out there a little bit more and explore what's out there besides your own community, who can still contribute to your community, it's there without a doubt.
I agree, and though I think post pandemic it will be an interesting interesting thing to, well, to get people out or to be discoverable more easily, because I tell people that I have the curse of knowledge, uh, because
Mhm,
when I was with Intel, I would go to hackathons. I would, my
mhm,
weekends were in the air, traveling to Denver or Cambridge or
mhm,
the UK, or just
mhm,
various places, spending 50 hours a week with kids of all ages from 10 to
mhm.
70, literally.
Wow.
Not every
Mhm.
time, but the full
Right,
range
right.
of. And these are people who said, I am going to stay awake for 2 days and do something interesting. And
Wow.
they did it. And sometimes it was a team, and sometimes it was people that
Mhm,
just met there and they were like, yeah, let's work on this thing. So
mhm,
all different modes of creative collaborative innovation that was motivated from within, because sometimes there were prizes, but there, that's
mhm.
kind of fun. But the primary reason was like, I am going to challenge myself and do something
Right.
outside of the norm. And
Mhm,
that is, it's obviously it's interesting because you're like, wow, this is
mhm.
some serious nerd power here. And you'd see some crazy stuff happen in the space of 2 days. Clearly it was
Mhm.
not finished products, but you're like,
Right, right, right.
I would not have thought of that. And that is difficult to create. It sort of emerges
Mhm,
from some weird place where everybody kind of goes, you want to spend the weekend on making a
mhm,
robot? They're like, yeah, me too.
mhm.
Okay. So that
Right.
just doesn't happen. But if you can gather, I was at Penn Apps, which was 1,200 or 1,500, somewhere in there. Every
Wow.
semester they have this, and that's insane. That's a huge event.
Mhm, mhm.
100-person hackathons on weekends and whatnot. So
Wow.
when you have that level of participation, then these are the people who I would think you'd say, does anybody know how to make a robot in 48 hours? And you'd get 10 people that would respond to that, right? Yeah, we did it yesterday.
Wow.
So that sort of network of people who understand the value of being like, because what you end up with a hackathon, if you don't win a prize, is you still develop that ability to turn an idea into something very quickly, and that's very
Right.
valuable for iterations. Sorry, for idea sprints, ideation
Mhm,
sprints.
mhm.
So like, okay, we have 5 days to come up with a solution, and I
Right.
always, even though it was a dramatic interpretation, but I always
Mhm.
say, can you imagine if you were the Apollo 13 astronauts and the people that had to reassemble the oxygen filtration system were like,
Oh
this
gosh.
is going to take
Mhm.
like 2 months. No, you got to be able to think on your feet and really do things. And when you do a
Right.
hackathon style, practice every once in a while, it keeps your skills sharp. It keeps your brain cells
Mhm.
moving. And it would be fun for me here if we can encounter that. And I'm sure you've probably talked to everybody, so the,
Well, if what
the
you and that's
volunteer terrain out there.
that, well, and that's a good point, because exactly, I only know, believe it or not, everything I've ever done has always been remotely. We've never even met in person at a meeting with Code for Fresno and, oh, well, Open Fresno and OpenSAC, because it's all been done remotely. So yes, I hear about all these great hackathons. Everything that we've done has all been remote. So I come from a different kind of level to where, okay, I can see the in person. Absolutely. I do go to one space here in Fresno, right near me, that I do in person. Yes. And so, yeah, I can see the differences there. I think that for me, what I find to be important is to basically have the best of both worlds, because unfortunately, remote's not going anywhere. And I wouldn't be surprised if, unfortunately, things get bad, health wise, to where all of a sudden we're back to remote at some point in time. So I guess that, to me, always keeping your sites, your options open is a good way to play it,
That's
in
true.
my point of view on that. Mm-hmm.
For better or worse, Las Vegas is a smaller. It's this. Everybody thinks the Strip is Las Vegas. That's not true, but the
Mm-mm.
Las Vegas area, the greater Las Vegas area, is
Mm-hmm.
reasonably small geographically. It's the population is 2.3 million, so it's not quite an LA or a maybe I don't know how big Fresno is, but um,
It's almost the size of LA, but I personally, I live in Madera County, which is it's a very small city outside the area of Fresno, about 20 minutes out. So yeah, we've got a very small population here, but Fresno is getting there, but still not as big. But yes, I've been to Las Vegas. My brother used to live there. So yes, I understand what you're saying.
but
Hmm.
I think people here like to get out. I don't think they're big
Yes.
fans of because, I mean, remote is interesting for not here, but Vegas is small enough,
Hmm.
so you're like, why don't we just meet up at a coffee shop or in the at the
Hmm.
workspace, the co-workspace, whatever.
Hmm.
So everything we've done has been in person so far. Although we do have full, like Git Live if you want to do pair programming. There's also
Hmm.
the Microsoft version of that, so you can look at code windows together and you can review code
Hmm.
and pair program. I would like to do something similar with the Figmas and the other projects like that.
Yes.
We can certainly do Zoom, or I like Jitsi because it's open source. But
Hmm.
there's all manner of these things. But I think there's something about the Vegas scene that just makes
Hmm.
going someplace is more
Yeah.
appreciated. I don't know.
Well, no, you're right, because really, just like with anything, you have to go with what your people in your demographic are doing. Just like with framing anything, people on the East Coast talk way different than people in California. Um, we want something fast that you can read really quickly. People on and on the East Coast, they want something that they can comprehend. It doesn't matter if it takes a few more paragraphs. So you're right. You have to go ahead and really play to the audience that you're with, and that's where you're at. Absolutely, I got to agree, because really everything's go 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 there. Hey, it's the city that never sleeps. So absolutely, I can understand your point on that front, without a doubt, and I can agree on your assessment there. Hmm.
Now the one thing though that uh, we'll see how this starts to evolve if we are finally getting some traction. I
Hmm.
have heard now and then, like, do we have to go to the hackathon? And I say the hackathon weekend is a time to in person have a synchronization, right? Like we're all in the same
Hmm.
place. We can, if we need to do
Hmm.
some onboarding with the new, we can talk about new projects and things.
Hmm.
But I really try to encourage people to meet on their terms, because not everybody. In fact, when we were talking to
Yes.
Christina in Miami a long time ago,
Hmm.
I said
Yes.
the whole reason to not have a one hackathon focus is because some people have kids, some people are single parents, some people are
Right.
going to school. I
Right.
want to contribute, but I can't make it on Sunday of that weekend. That's okay.
Hmm.
You can do whatever you want, whenever you want. If you want to meet up at a coffee
Hmm.
shop, if you want to work remotely with two other people.
Hmm.
So we're trying to encourage people to be flexible. We are totally remote work fans. That's totally fine. Um,
Yes.
and it should be flex time, and it should be flexible teams and the whole nine. So these are also job skills that you develop.
Well, and
So
actually, I was impressed when you did talk to Christina, because I did see that the following event you had, one thing she suggested was you're having someone to to provide childcare. And I thought that was excellent because really there are a lot of single parents. There are a lot of parents that are living with their own parents that would love to do something like this, but they can't because really their kids do come first as well. So I thought that was excellent that you implemented that at that time because really it's the people just need to know if they get exposed, see that it's there, it's attainable. Sometimes that's all it takes to get that fire going.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not rocket science. Every time someone says,
Right.
"Oh, someone was allowed to bring their child, their newborn, to
Hmm.
class and at school or to
Hmm.
work,"
Hmm.
for some reason it gets the headlines because apparently
Hmm.
that's
Yeah.
crazy. But
Yeah.
yeah, I would rather have people that are interested to participate. So yeah, there's no
Right.
there. Well, to kind of go along with that, all of our events are any age. Like you don't have to be 18 or
That's
21 or
excellent.
and
Hmm.
my half serious is and bring your parents, right? Because
Yeah. Hmm.
even if you're 20, you can bring your or 50. I can bring my mom, or my dad if he wants to come to Vegas.
Yes.
So yeah, bring your
Absolutely.
parents. Maybe they want to hack on something. And in fact, I mean that is based in reality because when I was at a hackathon in Cambridge, Massachusetts,
Hmm.
it was at some agricultural co-work space. It was kind of cool. It's very
Hmm.
green. This
Hmm.
70-year-old couple, they were like, "Wow, what are you working on there?" And they said, "We were in a hotel fire one time, and we our kids were upset. They're worried about us and this and that. So they
Hmm.
built a portable, like a thing you would attach to a door, and if it detected smoke or heat, it would send a text message and it would set off an alarm so that the kids would get a thing." And I was like, "Huh, that's very
Oh,
practical."
wow. Yeah. Excellent.
And they had never. They're like, "We've never done this before, so we just wanted to come out here." So yeah, kids, bring your parents because they're probably as curious as anyone else. And
Oh, absolutely. Not only that, really, the computer is excellent for those who are the senior citizens of our world because really that keeps the mind going. Why not, go ahead and advocate for, keeping your memory sharp? And it's kind of like a Ouija board, 7 to 99, as long as you have got the willingness to do it, absolutely participate. Hmm.
uh, yeah, I mean that's keep it. Well, I can't remember what I was going to say. No, I was kidding. Keep it.
Already, see, I know what you do it now. I'm kidding.
Well, there's life is movement, or once you stop
Yes.
moving, you're kind of.
Hmm.
So the same with you should challenge yourself mentally and whatnot. Do a crossword puzzle
Right.
or build a robot or
Yes.
whatever. So yeah, we're
Right.
trying to encourage that, but without having to
Right.
say, "Oh, sorry, you don't have." You have kids, you can't come, or you have a job. Sorry, so yeah, we're trying to
Right.
be maximally flexible, and it sounds glib, but I always say
Mhm.
if you're interested and interesting, then we'll make it work somehow.
Well,
If you
absolutely.
if you want to be here and you actually have like if you want to be here but you're not going to actually do anything, that's different. That's weird.
Oh,
But
yeah.
so if we can all jump in and go
You're a
like, okay, well,
lurker then, yeah.
yeah.
Right,
Well, like
right.
Michael and Steffi today, we were supposed to meet yesterday, and they said, "Hey, can we meet on Wednesday instead?" I said, "Sure, of course." So
Yes.
if we can figure out when to meet, we don't have to meet on the Saturday and Sunday. We can meet whenever. We can do a virtual. We can do all this stuff.
Mhm.
So the more options, I guess, and the more because if we had another team of 5 people or 4 people or whatever, and they wanted to
Wow.
meet at a library or they wanted to meet somewhere else on a different schedule, not everybody has to be everywhere in lockstep. So I think that will ultimately be, um,
Ye
yeah, that people will
yeah.
figure that out, and that's a job skill right there. Is working how to figure out how to work with other people.
Oh, absolutely, and I think too, really, it's, the matter of knowing as well that, hey, you can go ahead and it's a forgiving kind of place because you can be flexible. That's one of the great pluses about working in the civic tech industry and being a volunteer because hey, it is flexible. Now, one thing that I do find very, very interesting, um, now that you bring that up too, is really making sure that, like you said, if I could just have these people, um, you know, once it starts cracking, once that those engines, those pistons get going and it's all firing off, really you guys don't want to stop. It's kind of getting that fire to go in that direction that really all of a sudden you're on a get-go. And I think that people don't realize that, hey, once that you get that movement going, once you find that really good cadence, hey, you can be unstoppable. Seriously.
Yeah, I agree. And I was saying that today as well. I said, we had a big whiteboard kind of architecture discussion, block diagrams and arrows and all this.
Hmm, hmm.
And they're like, this it's just a lot to take in. I said, well,
Oh
I've
yeah.
spent a year on this and you've spent 10 minutes, so it's going to be a little bit different.
Right.
I said, the thing though, and so I pointed at 2 blocks and I said, okay, I'm working on this part and Michael's working on this part, and those will connect together. We don't need anything else to work, and we can still see
Hmm.
if our stuff is working. And then the stuff Steffi's working on will work with what Anton's working on. So she's doing front end
Hmm.
plus user experience,
Oh
actual
wow.
elements. So if they put those
Hmm.
together and we have some fake data that they can read and just say, okay, well, that's a
Hmm.
fake time for a bus or whatever, we can actually
Right.
have components working. And then you're like, oh, okay, so now to get from what we have now to the next thing, it's actually a very small amount of effort. And then you
Right.
start making incremental changes. And that's the whole agile thing too, right?
Mhm.
So
Right.
it seems scary when you have a blank page or an empty
Yeah.
swimming pool or whatever, and you're like, we got to fill
Yeah.
that. But,
Ye
when the swimming pool is half full, you're like, oh, now the other half is much easier.
oh, yes, absolutely, and that's just it. You just said it too, stages. It's all in stages. What you may need at the very beginning is definitely not what you're gonna need towards the end or even in the middle. So, really, it's all in stages, and it's just making sure that you keep those people interested. Sometimes you can keep people interested at all stages, but sometimes their forte only gets them maybe interested in 1 or 2 of the stages. Hey, that's fine. It's called contribution. It's not called a job. Why? Because you're contributing what you can.
Right. And yeah, like I've been saying it still is just don't disappear. That would be great. Um,
Right.
try to be a responsible part of a team, even if you're not there every time. So
Yes.
that will be a part of the process. I mean, all this, every time somebody would be like, how many people are at the hackathon? I said, 4. And they're like, oh, that's disappointing. And I said, but if it's the right
No.
4, that's all you need is the right 4. So
Absolutely.
hopefully we've gotten there, but also, yeah, infinite game. That means we, we have a nonprofit, charity, public charity. So we have all the
Mhm.
paperwork done where we don't make any money. So there's not really a lot of paperwork to do.
Right.
So if nobody shows up for another 3, obviously that's not true this month, but if next
Right.
month everybody's off doing their own thing and we don't have any, well, okay, but we're still a public charity. We still have projects. And we'll do it again every, whatever. So I'm not
Right.
overly worried. Um,
Mm-mm.
it will just take longer.
Wait, you know what though? I've always been told, my grandmother always told me, anything that's worth something is going to take time, no matter what. Because if it comes too easy, then you know what? It probably wasn't worth it because it's only going to last for so long.
There's probably a JFK speech that we could refer to here, but let us not stretch the historical
No, no, no. We
references.
won't go there. We won't go there.
The
Yes,
phone
yes.
book and the telephone booth thing was already too much.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Sorry, probably took back a lot of people back in time there.
You had to
But
pay.
that's okay.
You would pay for a phone. What was it? $1,000? No, it was 25 cents. What?
And it had buttons on it you had to push.
The phone had buttons and gum and cigarette
Yes.
burns and a
And a
broken
cord that you
phone.
wrapped yourself around
Yeah.
when you go ahead and got bored.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Although I tell you what, as much as I miss those good old times when I had no responsibility, lived in my parents' house, I wouldn't trade it for the world because really this right now, great day and age to be living in because things are just moving in so many different directions that really, hey, this is definitely the time. Definitely.
It's a good time to be irresponsible. Is that what you
Yeah,
said?
but hey, that too. Well, if you choose to be, absolutely. I'm a parent and a wife, and also I don't know what that's like, but I could only imagine. So,
Well, we have an entire city dedicated to irresponsibility right here. So
Well, I got to go over there and visit you. I've told you that already, and I
yeah,
plan on it. So yes, definitely, I plan on being irresponsible as soon as possible.
we are
So,
we're open late this weekend. So come on by.
hey, oh, just this weekend,
I say that a lot, but yeah, yes, exactly. Just this weekend.
huh?
There's and you know, I mean, so just to because it's already it's coming up on your bedtime. I think
How'd you
it's
know? I haven't even had my pudding yet tonight for dinner.
ah, but
Oh, my
it is
dessert. I'm
it
kidding.
is officially March 30th now. So for what that's worth.
Ooh, wow.
But the
Oh, should be a
so
pumpkin.
so the even though we are, we're still new, but this weekend, speaking of this weekend, there's
Mhm.
a community center. It's the Becker Community Center, and they literally it's a city community center, right? Like, where you'd send the kids when they're after school, and there's no, So the
Oh,
Becker Community Center has AutoCAD classes, has Minecraft classes, has drones,
oh,
has three. I think they have
fun.
3D printers. So there's a grand opening Saturday. So I'm gonna go check it out. Obviously, I'm gonna say, hey, do you guys want to have hackathons here? Do you want to do any sort of
Yes.
projects? And then I visited BattleBots, the BattleBot studio last
Oh,
week.
I love that BattleBots.
Yeah.
My husband and I watch it. Love that. Yes.
So
Hmm.
so Keith Wright is we are both the same age and have similar interests. So we were talking about all kinds of engineering, materials, mechanics, all this
Oh,
silliness. And so we had some discussions that I don't want to say anything just yet, but hopefully in the summer we'll have
oh.
some opportunities to collaborate a little bit. So so there is some opportunity here, and all we have to do is stick to it, and things will start to come together. So I
Oh.
remain playing the infinite game.
Congratulations. That's excellent. So, are we ready to rumble? So, hey,
Yeah,
that's excellent.
Michael Buffer, don't sue us, please. Thank you. It is a
Yeah, please don't. Yeah,
trademark.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
hey, shh, 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 shh. I'm
shh.
sorry, sorry, sorry. I say that on the regular all the time. Oh man, I like to rumble.
I think
Hey,
we
here
can
we go.
say let's get it on. I think that was the judge guy. That was
Hey, hey. Oh, there you go. Hey, yeah, there you go. Sorry. Hey.
uh,
See, I'm gonna get you in trouble already the first time. No, but I think that's excellent, and I do plan on visiting definitely. And now that you have that on the horizon, please let me know what you find out because I think that'd be great. Fantastic.
I there's always something new every month. So yes, of course. But all right, it's been we got we're at 96 minutes by the clock here. So that's a good clip for a first guest.
Well, thank you for inviting again, and it's been a pleasure speaking with you as always. And good luck to you.
Likewise.
And hey, any need anything? Absolutely, I'm there for the city that never sleeps. Not a problem.
I We might need an alarm clock or something, but just
Well,
because
yeah.
we do sleep eventually. Don't tell anybody. But
Your secret's safe with me. Thank you.
so thank you so much, Mary Faye Long Norris, otherwise known as Mary, otherwise known as Don't you know Mary? Have you met Mary? Or there's something about Mary if you want, but that's a different movie. But,
Yes, yes, that's right. Yeah, well, I like Cameron Diaz played that part for
oh yeah.
played the part of me. Thank you.
But thanks for taking the time. I'm sure
Thank you.
it'll be an interesting couple of months with the brigade stuff and the sunsetting and the continuing projects. We have some similar excitement, so we'll have many discussions. You're always welcome back anytime, and
Thank you. I'll take you
I
up on that.
I
Thank you so
will
much.
I would look forward to that, and I appreciate your time, and thank you all for listening. And I will end with saying Spotify kind of sucks, so we're gonna deploy our own version of our podcast because they break my show notes. So I do have links to Open Fresno and Code for Sacramento, and so look for those in the show notes. But look for our website because I hate Spotify. But on that note, I will thank you and have a good one and good morning, I guess, at this point. But I'm going to hit the stop button now. Thank you, everybody, for
All
listening.
right.